Welcome to the Haven for Soul Care, the podcast where women come to find inspiration, encouragement, and practical tools for living a purpose-filled life. I'm your host, Brianna, and today we're diving deep into the world of holistic health, self-discovery, and meaningful self-care. Ladies, have you ever felt like you've lost connection with yourself, your body, your mind, or even your spirit? If so, you're not alone. And today's guest is here to help you reconnect. Joining me is Lynda Hébert, a Bachelor of Science nurse, certified wellness health teacher, speaker, nationally certified Christian yoga instructor, and the author of the Amazon national and international bestseller, Strong, Sane, and Sassy, exposing the truth about real health. Lynda's groundbreaking work focuses on helping women break free from shame and embrace holistic health that nourishes from the inside out. She's here to share insights from her own journey of self-discovery and how we can align our habits with our core values to live fuller, healthier lives. So grab a cozy seat, a warm cup of tea, and let's dive into this soul-nurturing conversation with Lynda.
I'm Lynda Hébert, and I have a nursing degree. I got my nursing degree from Ohio State years ago, and I kind of moved into, after I worked many years in all different kinds of places, all different styles and specialties. I decided to move more towards a holistic approach because I began to understand that was truly what I was looking for as a health practitioner. So that's a little bit about how I came to this point. I am a yoga instructor, a national certified yoga instructor. So that's a big part of my lifestyle is incorporating the principles of yoga, into my faith, and it's a lifestyle for me. I have 3 children, and they're all married, and they each have 3 children. So I have 9 grandchildren, 7 and under. So they're the joy of my life. And I'm a health coach. I love coaching women to empower themselves and own their own health. That's when we thrive in our best health.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So what does true health really mean to you?
I would say 2 things. One is it's integrated health. It is all parts of ourselves. All parts of ourselves are equally important. Our mind, our body, our spirit, and our heart, our emotions. And so all parts of ourselves are equally important and they're integrated. So we can't fragment our health. We have to understand that. And our lifestyle habits, when we have healthy lifestyle habits and we're living in integrated health, we're living in true health.
Yes, we are. We are. And, being a healthcare coach and then being also a nurse, and I asked you that question to start with, just because of you being a nurse and your background
Yes.
in healthcare. And I'm sure you have seen a lot of people in some of the toughest moments of their life, right?
Yes.
And a lot of it has to do with the way that they take care of themselves holistically, not just the symptom that has brought them in there, but it's been a whole lifestyle of their living. And so a lot of times when we think about health, people immediately think about, oh, I need to eat right, or hey, I just need to exercise a little more. But I'm like, it takes a little more than that, to have a holistic, whole healthy lifestyle. And so I think that's really important. And I think a lot of times people really need to sit down and define to themselves or with themselves, what does true healthy living mean to them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you use the word whole, because we are a whole person. And when we try to fragment our health into, oh, I don't have these symptoms anymore, or I'm taking these pills or these supplements even, or I'm on this diet. That's not what makes us a whole person. And we do need to look into all aspects of ourselves, but we can't fragment and try to keep our health all about our diet or how much we're exercising. It's so much more It's so much more simpler than that, but once you understand the process of how to understand all parts of yourself, so once you understand your body and how it speaks to you, and you
Mhm.
incorporate your thoughts and other parts of yourself to understand how why your body is working the way it is, it
Mhm.
all comes together for you.
Yes, yes. And I love that. I want us to get into that. I want us to get into the body when the body begins to speak, because I was having a conversation with someone earlier this week. Even though we were just in Tuesday, but yes, so that was yesterday, right? And so the conversation came about when we were talking about depression, right? And with depression, oftentimes what we don't realize is that it's not more chemical based, it's situational based, right? And so you can go to the doctor, you might even get on pills, or you might go to the therapist. But if you don't change the actual situation that is causing the depression, and so sometimes the situation is triggering something from your subconscious and causing you to go back to a time where an offense or you were hurt or a great pain or some grief or something has taken place. And so this situation that you're in doesn't require for you to have pills. It just requires for you to more or less have um, to get to the root of the main issue, if I'm making sense.
Oh, yes.
So, but the body has a way with telling us, hey, there is something in me, or there is something going on within me that you need to address.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about our body is we don't need to be afraid of our emotions. All they are emotions. And when our body is signaling to us, hey, there's something you're not addressing. Our body does carry a lot of our nervous system, things that we have not addressed in our nervous system. And so
Mhm.
it wants us to process them. So it's not as hard as most people think it is to stop and pause and feel that emotion, get to the root of it and feel it, maybe grieve over it, cry, get some support,
Mhm.
let it let it release. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it is the most healing process. And it's a beautiful experience. It's just when we don't take the time to do that, that we
Mhm.
create the fear that if it's that we're going to fall into deeper depression or we can't
Mhm.
handle what we're going to see, but we can. We
Mhm.
really can. We just have to feel the emotion.
Yeah, I think that's scary for people um, when you tell them you have to sit in it. You really have to sit in it. And they're like, you mean relive this all over again? And it's like, yes, in order for you to release it, you have to sit in it all over again, because during the time that it happened, you were trying to escape it. And so continue to live your life in a way that you're still trying to escape this feeling of dread or whatever the feeling is that you still have trapped within your body.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful thing about that is it gives you an opportunity to comfort yourself
Mm,
because there's a lot of times these are things that happened to us when we were younger
mhm,
and we didn't have comfort. And
mhm,
we just have lived a life without getting the comfort we needed when we were experiencing something painful.
mhm.
And so we can comfort our younger self or who we are right now, which is the same person.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
does help, to have someone to talk to, maybe a therapist.
Mhm,
But I have found when I can comfort myself, whatever comes up, I feel it just really helps me.
mhm, mhm. I know we jumped right into our discussion, but I want tell us, how did you get on this journey of becoming a health coach? Because you have to have had some type of experience yourself, that, or maybe walking alongside people, you just had maybe a passion, started developing this passion to further help people.
Well, I will tell you, I did not realize I was in junior high when it all started, junior high school. And it's been years of processing what I experienced with my brother and my sister. I was right in the middle. I had an older sister, younger brother, loved them dearly, just loved my siblings. My sister she started acting differently. When I was 14, she was 16. And this went on for a couple of years. We were super close. We did everything together. And eventually got to the point where I just kept thinking, what's wrong with my sister? All I can think is, how can I help her? She was acting differently. I never knew when she was going to be herself and when she was going to have just explosive emotions. She just did a lot of uncharacteristic things. So my parents were super busy. I was trying to understand it all myself. And she was eventually eventually diagnosed with chronic schizophrenia. And I saw her go through the process of just completely unraveling. And it was extremely painful, but I didn't have a place to process it. And then at the same time, my younger brother, I'd say after a year of her watching her go through this, he developed a drug addiction. Now they were both very healthy, functioning. We were a high functioning family from what I knew. And it just wreaked havoc on his body, his mind, and his spirit. So I just desperately tried to help them as much as I could. And my brother eventually got better and got healthy and whole, but he developed leukemia. And then I donated my bone marrow. He was going to die. I donated my bone marrow, and it didn't work. He passed away. So my sister, I lost them both, and I saw that what kind of treatment they were getting, and I knew it wasn't what they needed. All I was told over and over again was that their brain chemicals were imbalanced. It was a permanent imbalance. So that's what started me on the journey. I went to Ohio State and become a nurse, and I just kept wanting to learn everything I could. And it's just been years of trying to understand how to get to real health. What is it? And whatever I didn't get to do for my brother and my sister, my passion is to bring it and give it to other people, what I know now, and what is the truth, how God designed us to live. He designed our bodies magnificently. It's just magnificently, our bodies, what they can do for us. But we have to partner with our body through our habits and through our lifestyle, what we do, what we think, how we eat, all of those things together to maintain that and to achieve that true healthy way of living that God designed us to experience, the abundant life.
Yeah.
So that's how I gave you a lot, I know.
No. I'm glad you shared that. Thank you. Because that's a lot of people's stories. That they don't tend to want to share that
Yes.
with them.
It's painful. I will tell you, every single time I share it, I feel like crying, and I've processed it over and over again. I've done a lot of, grieving, but it's, I've learned about grief. You don't just grieve one time. You grieve through different seasons of life about the same thing, but grieving is healing.
Yes, it is. It is. And I believe that it brings about a different layer of healing each time.
Exactly.
And so
Yes.
when you talk about the way that we think, I believe that each layer of healing enhances the way that we think about our loved one that we have lost, whether it's to, them passing, or just whether it's to them just still being alive, but yet not in our life. So I believe that the healing brings about a enhanced way of thinking about that grief.
Yes.
Myself have went through that. And so each year that went by, especially with my father, there were different ways that God would come in and would say different things to me, and help me to see it in a different light. It comforted me. The grief is still there, but it's not on that same level either. I get more joy now when I have those memories than I do of actual sadness. And so it helps me with when the holidays come, I don't find myself depressed like I once did. I find myself with these memories that I now share with my children. And I get to
That's
tell them
beautiful.
stories
That's
of their
beautiful.
grandfather.
Yes, I love that.
hmm So yeah. And I wanted us to get into the way that we think about ourselves. I think that's a perfect segue for that. Let's talk about that. How does our thinking affect our health?
Well, actually our thinking, our mindset is our number one way that impacts our health. And, one of the things I've come to understand is how much our gut microbiome impacts our health. And all of our brain chemicals are produced, 90% of them, our serotonin, our dopamine, are produced in our gut. And so when we think well, we're connecting with all parts of our physical body and aligning ourselves with producing good chemicals and doing the things that our body's designed to do to keep us healthy. So just generally thinking good thoughts just helps you physically be healthier. But how we think, it's so much in the Bible, and I think we take for granted the power, what the scriptures tell us.
Yes.
How we think is who we are. And that's why we're warned to guard our heart, to guard our mind. Now, I think a lot of women don't understand. We don't know. A lot of people don't know how they think. They don't realize it. They think good, but you have to really learn how to be aware of your thoughts. And I think the most important thing that you can ever do is have compassionate thoughts towards yourself. So you have to capture those thoughts that are, and we have them all the time, and we think we deserve them sometimes, and sometimes we think we don't, which is crazy because we don't deserve or not deserve it. It's just, the truth is we're going to have some negative thoughts at times, and we need to capture them and align ourselves with what we truly believe and what, at our core, in the depths of our heart. And when we align our thoughts with what we believe, our body, again, we're not in cognitive dissonance. We're not working against ourselves. We're working together for ourselves. And I think we have to go really easy on ourselves about our thoughts, because we're not going to get it overnight, but it's a habit. And because of the way God designed our brains, that neuroplasticity, there's so much research that's come out in the last 10 years. We create our own neurotransmitters, our own neuropathways. So when we think the good thoughts and we just, really push out the bad ones, and I'm not saying don't process an emotion, that's really important. But when we think those good thoughts over and over again, even if we don't believe them in the moment, they become our beliefs.
I think that's good, because that nursery rhyme that says sticks and stones may break my bones, and words would never hurt, but words would never hurt me. Am I saying it right?
Yes, you are. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's so false, because words do hurt. So, when you said, even if you don't believe it at the time, keep repeating it, keep saying it to yourself. And a lot of times people don't realize is that they can actually at one point of their life have very high confidence in who they are, but get with or connect with the wrong person who begins to sow these seeds to go against what you truly believe about yourself. Staying in that situation too long will cause everything that you thought and believed about yourself to now be what I would call corrupted, because a seed planted that is not uprooted would take root. And if it takes root to spread, then you will find yourself in a state of not knowing who you are, not feeling good about yourself like you once did. And so with you being a health coach, if you had a woman to come into you who was put in that situation, what kind of tools would you give her to help her to be able to begin to transform her thoughts back to what she originally believed about herself? Or even a woman who's never had a good belief about herself, because she comes from a background where nothing was ever good said to her.
Well, that is a great question. I think it comes first with identifying your own thoughts. And I always like to start with compassion on yourself, because we have to understand that a lot of situations we found ourselves in, we didn't know. But once you do know, it's our responsibility to change that situation. So I think the most important thing I want to communicate with women is you have the power to change. You can do this. Yes, you need support.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to talk and help people understand boundaries. Women, we struggle with boundaries, but we have to realize we protect ourselves. And God wants us to protect ourselves. He is our ultimate protector, but He wants us to protect ourselves. And so we have to know what I like to ask them this question to ask themselves a lot. What energizes me? What makes me feel good? What brings me energy? And what drains me? What
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel bad?
Mm-hmm.
We have to know those things. And sometimes that includes people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the boundaries have to be established because you don't want your energy drained on things that are not building you up and not making you a better person, because then you have less to give to other people. You have less to live out your unique God-given gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to begin with being aware and then learning how to establish good boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and knowing how to handle, how to keep those boundaries established. But I think one of the things that is an easy thing for us to do is just make sure whatever we're listening to, whatever we're putting our mind on is good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the people in our lives, that takes a little bit more time and creativity,
Mm-hmm.
knowing how to handle each situation that is draining us, but we can do it, and it's with boundaries.
Yeah. When you use the word and it's you said responsibility.
Hmm.
It our responsibility. I think that is so important because a lot of times people want to put the responsibility off on someone else, especially us as women, who have been damaged, who have been hurt, who are still looking for love in all the wrong places, are looking for validation outside of themselves. So what happens is that they try to put the responsibility on their mate, on the people within their circle, and it's not fair. You're putting it's not fair to put expectations on people that they cannot ever give you. It's unfair expectation for me to try to help somebody else build themselves up when in fact it starts within. If you
So
start knowing who you are, if you start building yourself up, everybody around you will automatically do that because that's just how it works.
you couldn't say it more perfectly. And honestly, I think once we realize that people will never give us the value and the self-worth that we're looking for, it frees us up
Mm-hmm.
and it disempowers us when we think that we have to get it from someone else. It's completely disempowering.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mindset shift. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you waste time. I like when you were saying about I'm gonna put it in my own words, time, wasting time. We waste time that we can never get back thinking wrong or trying to get this validation externally. And it's by the time you get to a place where you recognize, you know what, this starts with me. I hate when I have women that come to me and they're um in their 60s, and I'm like, I wish someone
Yes.
was there early on in your life to help you get to where you're trying to get now. And it's never too late, it's never too late, but I just wish that, we had more women who know better and who has chosen to do better, who actually extend what they know to other women. That's one of the things that I have been really praying about, is that we come together more as women and not just hold it,
Yes.
but we actually extend the things, the tools that we know to help build each other up. So that I don't want
I
to get.
agree with that. Honestly, the best thing women can do for themselves is have another good woman or a few in their lives and just really love other women well. We need each other because we understand each other, and men don't give us. I want men
Mhm.
to be men. I don't want them to be women. So they
Right.
can't give us what we need because they don't understand. They don't come from our own makeup. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying that We don't need men. Of course we do. I'm married. I love my husband, but women give us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to make sure we're connecting with other women and have that in our lives. And one other thing is when we take care of ourselves physically, when we eat well, we exercise, we get out in nature, we are making ourselves stronger emotionally and mentally and spiritually. So, again, all of those parts of ourselves, when we honor ourselves, we're not going to let anyone dishonor us because we would know what it feels like to honor ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I had listened to a comedian, and the comedian was saying that she had a girlfriend who was disrespected by this man she had met, and they were in the beginning stages of dating, but he disrespected her, and so she didn't like it, and so she blocked him. And her girlfriend said, "Oh, that's really good. That's real good." So what did he say when you unblocked him? She said, "Unblocked him." She said, "Yeah." What did he say? She said, "I didn't unblock him. Why would I do that?" She said, "Oh, well, maybe I need help in that area."
That's hilarious.
I said, "Oh my gosh!" But that's what we do. When we talk about people who don't honor us the way that we honor ourselves, or if we don't honor ourselves and we find ourselves in a situation where people aren't honoring us, we tend to not have those boundaries, and we will block, and then find ourselves unblocking them because that need. But when you honor yourself, you will be just like that friend. Block, and I'm not returning back to that, because if you can't
Yes.
honor me, there's no
Yes.
need for you to be in my life.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that can happen with even anyone. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can bring that person back into their life. Sometimes it can be a girlfriend even. And it just depends on where you are. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that we just, put people out of our lives. That's not how it
Right.
works. We just have to be healthy so that we can offer our healthiest self to other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I want us to get into your book. So you have wrote,
Okay.
and I want you to tell us about your book. Tell us who we can get it, hold it up because it's a beautiful cover. And tell us, yeah, that's beautiful. I love your cover. I really do. Okay, so tell us about your book.
Okay. So it's called Strong, Sane, and Sassy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about 8 transformative lifestyle habits that transform you from the inside out. And it also has the title Exposing the Truth About Real Health. So the book is about living physically and emotionally strong, having
Mm-hmm.
a clear, sound mind, a
Mm-hmm.
mind that God designed for us, to be um, not a spirit of fear, but of power and strength, and to have a strong voice. That's the sassy part. It's so important to know your own voice and recognize what you believe and live according to your own values, your own voice. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's again our integrated health. And so I lay it out. First, what I do in the first couple chapters is go through why I wrote the book and how do we prepare. And a lot of it is about self-reflection and self-examination. And I
Mm-hmm.
include on there creating a wellness vision. I really
Mm-hmm.
believe in the power of visualization. It sounds kind of woo-woo, but it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
a really fun thing to do. And when
Mm-hmm.
you begin to see God manifest in your life what you're visualizing, you see the way we're created for our mind and our body and our spirit all work together. And then we get into the habits. I use the acrostic strength.
Okay.
And each habit, so each chapter has a habit. So the S stands for supportive listening, sensing your body's signals and searching your soul. We really have to get in tune to our body's signals, what it's telling us. So it's not a linear book where you just, practice one thing each time. It's a lifestyle. And
Mm-hmm.
you understand the principles eventually, and you're just working on each one of them. So T goes through training your thoughts. R is rest, restore, rejuvenate. E is exercise and movement. N is nutrition and hydration.
Mm-hmm.
T is thrive in your community. And then H is, oh, I forgot G. G is goal setting with grace. When we know where we're going and we have a target, it just reduces stress in our lives because we have a roadmap to get there and we have a destination in mind. And then H is, this is hone your healthy habits. It's a process of one small step at a time. People can get overwhelmed thinking that when we work on our health, it's something we want, like say, to happen. Just we're going to change our diet. No, it's one small step at a time. It is the most natural way to change, and it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love our rest and renew. I love it. I love it because that was something I had to learn. I had to learn to rest. Because there was a time, a long season in my life where I wasn't resting. I wasn't stopping. And when I would say I was resting, I was still working, right? Um, and I remember he kept trying to get my attention to stop. And I remember sitting right here where I'm sitting now, and God said, I need you to just come sit with me. And I said, okay. And I sat maybe 2, 3 minutes, and I was up again, and he said, I just need you to come and sit with me. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I went and I sat. But what God was requiring of me was a day to rest, a whole day to rest. And because I wouldn't do and comply, he made me rest, right? I found myself laid up in my bed, and I couldn't do nothing but rest and listen and let him renew me in those areas I needed to be renewed. And so I love rest and renew because I believe that, you can do a lot of things, but if you're not rested,
Mm, mm.
you can't,
I,
because you don't even know how to stop those train of thoughts that keep
you,
coming in.
yeah,
You you find yourself,
you're absolutely right.
yeah, grumpy and all of you. I'm so exhausted. Well, you're exhausted because you're steady working. You won't rest. You won't sit. You won't let God renew you and pour into you. Because if you're a person, especially us as women, we are constantly pouring out. And it's like you have to let God pour back into you. That's how you really get genuine rest. He gives rest to his people if you let him. You
It
know.
is a choice. It really is. And a lot of women like you and like me, we have to schedule it. I call it rhythms of rest
Mm-hmm.
that lead us to a lifestyle of grace, because we have to have rest. And
Yes.
when we don't, I think we're telling ourselves that we're God almost. He created us to rest. He even rested.
Mm-hmm.
And if God, there's so much value, and we're afraid that we're not going to accomplish something. And I really appreciate what you shared. I had a whole season of rest. I had a
Mm-hmm.
whole 3 months
Oh.
of just doing nothing. But I mean, sometimes I can't even believe some of the things I did. I would go lay down outside in nature under a tree because my soul really needed rest from
Mm-hmm.
years and years of
Yeah.
not resting.
Oh my gosh. Um, that is so good. Um, because I'm in that season now where I'm able, God has made it where I had to put things away, where I had to stop doing certain things. Um, and it took me a long time because I was like, Lord, now you have got to do this. You have got to put that away. You have got to shut that down. And I did, because I didn't want to be laid on my back. I was like, okay, Lord, just help me through this process of letting go. But now where I'm at now, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
there's freedom. I get to enjoy, stop and look around. I hear the birds, you know, I get to enjoy conversations. Um, I don't have to rush through these things. And it's just like, this is what I've been needing for so long. And I'm in a season where I'm not caring for others before I care for myself.
That's so beautiful. And I love you use the word freedom. And that's what I talk about in my book, that when you live this lifestyle
Mhm.
and you do take the time to rest, you experience such a freedom, and you just love everything about life better, and you love other people so much better
Mhm.
because you're restoring. You're
Mhm.
restoring your own soul, your own mind. your own body, it gives you freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, this is good. I could talk about this all day long.
I
Because
love it. I
and
love it.
I just believe that we as women, we are lacking that for ourselves. We don't give I have a spiritual daughter that she has opened up I don't want to call it a clinic, but it opened up this business, but it's you go in and it's called the name of it's called Rest and Renew, but you just go in and rest. And I got to experience.
I think I love that.
Yeah, I
I
really,
love
and
that. That's a great idea.
yeah, and it's like people who are, when they're on their break, they go in there and she'll have the music on or whatever it is that they're asking for, and you get to sit there or you can lay down, or and I mean, and it's just peaceful. You don't have to think about it. You're just resting.
And so the physiological, processes that are going on, the way God designed us is we're to live in our parasympathetic mode, which is our rest and restore. That's when our body does its best work, when we're not in our sympathetic or our fight or flight, which
Mm-hmm.
people tend to live in all the time. And so our body can never do all the repair, and our central nervous system is never relaxed. So that's the beauty of rest. We get into that parasympathetic mode and our physical body can just completely restore.
Wow, wow, I love it. I love it. Tell us where we can get your book.
Pardon me?
Tell us where we can get your book.
My book is on Amazon. So you can order it from Amazon. It's also in other online and Walmart and I believe Target.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I really hope people look at it, take a good look at it, because it just explains exactly how to do each one of those habits. And it gives you an action table at the end of each chapter. So you can have a guide to follow and to help you along the way.
Oh, good, good. I'm excited. I'm excited. I believe that we're going to add it to our book club. We have a Haven, a soulful book club that we do every quarter. And so I believe we're going to add your book to our
Awesome. Thank
quarter, one
you.
of our quarters for next year. And so I'm excited so we can add it, add this and begin to transform our lives. I'm using your principles because yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. So everybody
Oh,
listening, please go ahead and order your books. If you are a part of the book club, if you want to be a part of us, let us know, and we're gonna go ahead and order your book so you'll be prepared. So I'm excited. I thank you for joining us on today. I really am grateful for you and the work that you have done. If somebody wanted to schedule a session with you, what do they need to do? Do you have social media?
I
Um,
do. I have. So actually, I would love them just to reach out to me and send me an email.
okay.
Lynda, my name, Lynda, Lynda Hebert. That's Lynda Hébert, number 1 at gmail.com. So LYNDA HEBERT, number 1 at gmail.com. My website, you can find out all about my book and everything on my website. That's lindahebert.com. It's
Good.
called Wild About Wellness, but it's lindahebert.com. And then I'm on Instagram, um, Lynda_Hebert. It's LYNDA_HEBERT_.
Good, 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 good. So, ladies, don't forget, if you want a health coach, holistic, one that is Christian based, please reach out. Wow, what an incredible conversation. Look, if you want to dive deeper into Lynda's work, be sure to grab her best-selling book, Strong, Sane, and Sassy, Exposing the Truth About Real Health, available now on Amazon. Trust me, it's a game changer. And to all of you tuning in, thank you for spending this time with us at the Haven for Soul Care. If you love this episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with the women in your life who need a little soul care too. Until next time, remember to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. You deserve it. I'm Brianna, and this has been the Haven for Soul Care. Stay blessed.